Hi everyone, this is a quick video to walk you through the 5 R's of academic support time. My name is Terry Ramirez and I'm the academic coach at Los Alisos.
I'm Sarah Nichols. I am the academic coach at El Toro High School.
And I'm Judy Schultz. I'm the academic coach at Serrano Intermediate.
So we have the 5 R's here on the right side of our little interactive notebook in this Genially, and they are relationship building, reach out, reteach, revise, and retake. This link right here will take you to the document to record notes for yourself in the Canvas page. And I'm going to go ahead and start with relationship building. So we have a video here on the left side. And the idea here behind this video is talking about building relationships with your students in this remote world. And this quote here is great. It says, "The student I had in the classroom was not going to be the same student in this remote world." And these articles over here are going to support this. It talks about building community in cult of pedagogy with your students in the online realm and how that looks different. So the idea is that building relationships online is, of course, not the same as building them in person. And then Larry Ferlazzo, who does a lot of work with distance learning, he hits the social emotional learning aspect. And that's why his article is titled, "I'm Worried About My Students, and Here's What I'm Planning to Do About It." So he talks about what he's doing with his students to sort of ease that social emotional burden that the kids are feeling. And so the bottom line with relationships down here is that relationships with students have a positive effect on all aspects of achievement, of course, grades, social emotional, mastery, etc. With hybrid and distance learning, they matter even more now. So that contact, that relationship building is incredibly important.
Okay, and I'm going to talk about reaching out, like that component that we can use that academic support time of connecting with our students and families. So on the left-hand side there, if you click on that image, it's going to open up a slideshow, and it's going to have a bunch of different tips and even sentence stems on how to have conversations with parents. And you can cut and paste those, or you can create your own, just kind of a plan or a guide, if you will, of what you're going to do and how you're going to actually communicate. You also, when thinking about this, you need to be intentional with your communication. Is you need to have an idea in your mind before you place that phone call, or even sending an email, having an idea of what you would like to say to them and how to kind of stay positive in the moment when you're communicating with families as well. So just that effective communication. And then off to the right, I've got an article there about why we want to partner with families during distance learning. This was written back in August, so it's very current on this whole idea of communication in this distance environment. It's just very difficult and challenging, and so how to focus on that. And then going back to in the middle there, we've got 2 different options that the district is recommending. Obviously, setting up a Google Meet, or potentially using something called the Remind app. And that is, the instructions are there for you to view as well. And then bottom line is, if for reaching out purposes, if you're not getting in touch with families one way, try a new way. See what way you can, most effectively communicate with those families and students.
Okay, so here on the Reteaching tab, first of all, there's a graphic on the left side, and it just hits home that reteaching takes many forms and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. And so reteaching can be modeling, student self-assessment, games, peer tutoring. So we're not talking about literally doing your lesson over again. Right here is a great guide to reteaching, and it actually includes a free downloadable ebook. This gal goes through the steps of reteaching. So she talks about breaking down the standards into learning targets, which is something that we've done as a district in the past, and then diagnosing the problem using formative assessment, and then moving on to grouping students and trying to group them by addressing their needs. And she gives you suggestions on how to do that. And then she gives 10 different methods of reteaching, anything from small group and chunking to station teaching and objective related extension tasks. And she gives you links to her book. And then finally, creating goals and monitoring progress. And she talks about how you want to set the learning targets for the kids, create the goals, and then help them reach their goals. So it's not just about them knowing what to do, but knowing what they're supposed to learn. And I think that is one of the issues that we have in distance learning right now, where students know how to do an assignment or what to do on an assignment, but they have no idea what they're supposed to learn. And so that's why sometimes reteaching is necessary. And so the bottom line is reteaching is a response to student learning based on formative assessment. So you want to be assessing your students along the way. That way it can direct your teaching and you know exactly what direction you want to go with your kids, how fast you can go in the pacing.
And here on the revision tab, these are some resources to help you as you think about how your kids can revise the assignments that you've given them. So in the upper left, there's a video there of a young man who talks about the revision process and what he thinks when he gets a paper back, the thought process that he goes through. And then we have a quote down there that talks about how true revision involves reseeing, rethinking, and reshaping. And then over on the right, we have a couple resources for you. The top one is how to avoid penalizing multiple attempts at mastery. And this article is really talking about the thought process that a teacher or a student would go through as they're working on mastery of a skill that they're working on. And then the next one is how to get students to read feedback. So you've written all this great feedback for them. How do you get students to read that feedback and respond to that feedback? And you could go through that article and get some great ideas there for you. And then the bottom line is that revising is a crucial part of the learning process, one that should be encouraged and rewarded. And then the next one is retake, the academic component of the 5 R's of why we should allow for retakes for students. So we've got in the left 2 videos from Rick Wormelli. There's a part 1 and a part 2, and he goes through the foundational work of why we should allow students to make up work, to retake work, and to redo work. And in our district, it's a best practice to give full credit for retakes. And then you'll see over on the right-hand side, there's part 1 and part 2 of Rick Wormelli's videos. These are the transcripts in case you want to do a search. If you know there's some keywords that you're looking for, they're right there for you.
All right, and just so you know, with this presentation, if you click the home button, it will always take you back to this front page. If you have any questions about anything you've seen or heard, please reach out to your academic coach or one of us, and we are certainly available to help you. Thank you very much.